Welcome back. This is Study Skills for Success in College. We're now entering Chapter 2, which is titled Positive Attitudes and Goals Preparing Your Mind for Success. This will be the first lecture in a series of 3 short lectures for this chapter. And by the end of the chapter, you'll be able to appreciate the power of your mind, determine your locus of control, reframe your thinking, identify and prioritize your values, maintain a positive attitude, set SMART goals, demonstrate the relationship between your values and goals, and create goals to support your academic and personal success. Why does attitude matter? Well, simply put, attitude and self-motivation directly determine your academic success, your professional success, your personal success, and really your health. If you have a positive attitude and you're motivated to learn when it comes to school and learning, you have a head start on what could become a productive career or just generally a greater satisfaction with your knowledge. One characteristic that successful people share is a positive attitude. In addition, people with positive attitudes have been shown to have more responsive immune systems, so ultimately they're healthier. Keeping a positive outlook can sometimes be tough. We know that because we're constantly bombarded by negative messages and thoughts. Just watch the news these days. As you journey through life, outside messages and internal thoughts can begin, like seeds, to grow and thrive in our minds. Our minds are like gardens where, if we care for them properly, we can grow healthy fruit. If weeds take root, though, the garden can quickly become overgrown. This chapter will show you how to cultivate your mind garden, develop a successful attitude. In addition, this chapter will help you set goals for personal and professional success. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Most people are about as happy as they make up their mind to be." In this lecture number 1, we'll discuss the following. After the introduction, I'll talk about the conscious versus the subconscious mind and determining your locus of control. This chapter will hopefully help you to examine and improve your attitudes and help you to create effective goals. And as you work through the exercises in this particular chapter, one goal will be to slow down your mind talk and make it positive and supportive. In exercise 2-1, we take the time to determine our current state of mind. Now, the textbook refers to this as mind talk. And in summarized form, we then describe the internal dialogue that we're having that represents that state of mind. I hope you'll take the time to do this exercise. People often stress the importance of a positive attitude. You've probably heard sayings such as, "You are what you think, and your attitude determines your life." This sounds like pop psychology. You may be skeptical, so let's discuss exactly why a positive attitude is so important and actually prove then just how powerful it can be. To understand this, we must begin with a basic understanding of that wonderful and mysterious thing we call the mind. We can begin to understand the mind, and that's as far as we're going to get, to be sure, by considering it in 2 parts: the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is what we're most familiar with. It involves day-to-day thoughts about what to wear, how to pay the bills, what the future holds, and so much more. We spend most of our waking lives immersed in this part of the mind. In the stress management chapter, we began a journey to control the conscious mind so that we can manage our stress, thus maximizing our success. In this chapter, chapter 2, we take that journey just a bit further. Operating just under the conscious mind is the subconscious. much like a submarine operating unseen under the surface of the water. This part of the mind is concerned with survival. Imagine if we had to consciously think about each heartbeat or breath. We'd be unable to think about anything else. We're less aware of the subconscious because it functions more in our sleep. During our waking hours, it also functions, but often at such a level we're not even aware of it. The subconscious mind can be our friend when it comes to our success. Here are a couple of statements that reflect this idea. The thoughts or ideas you plant in your subconscious will grow there. Have you ever had a problem weigh on your conscious mind? You think and worry about it all day. Then you go to sleep at night and you dream about your concerns. This happens because the subconscious takes over while the conscious mind is sleeping. Remember, the subconscious is the survival part of your mind. It will consider something you perceive as a threat as something it must deal with. Even if you consciously think you can't deal with your problem, your subconscious is always on the job. While you sleep, you might have some crazy, wild dream about the problem while the subconscious mind tries to sort it all out. This shows that conscious thoughts that we plant in the subconscious grow there, which is why it's so important to plant positive thoughts. Next, the subconscious mind can be a powerful ally in creative thinking and problem solving. Have you ever had a problem you consciously pondered for hours? Then, with no solution in sight, you did something else you enjoyed just to take it off your mind. Maybe you were taking a walk in the woods, listening to some of your favorite music, uh, taking a relaxing shower, when all of a sudden, boom, the answer magically came to you. Well, it's not magic, it's your subconscious mind working on the problem at a level you aren't aware of, even during your waking hours. In 2008, I was working on a book, a young reader novel called The Cave. I had just about finished the book. I was trying to figure out the resolution of the story. Remember, stories follow a line, right? It starts with what's called exposition, means you're exposing the characters, you're letting your reader know all the details about the characters and the setting and all those types of things. And then there's rising action. Things begin to occur between the characters and nature, or nature and nature, or characters and nature. And then you have the climax, which is generally the most exciting part of the story. And then it follows with falling action and finally resolution. Well, I was to the resolution point in my story and I couldn't figure out how to tie it up. I couldn't figure out how to, in an exciting way, resolve the story. I tried and tried for weeks and I just couldn't do it. It really bothered me. And so I decided I'm just going to let it go for a while and give this a rest because the frustration level was so high. Well, my wife and I took a trip back east to Pennsylvania to visit family. We were there for almost a week, I think 6 days. And they took us to the airport and we got on the plane and we were flying back. And I was sitting in a window seat and I was looking out at the beautiful clouds and you know how it just beautiful and amazing that view can be. And my mind was just at rest completely when all of a sudden, boom, the resolution for my story came to me just like that. I didn't have my computer with me, so I grabbed one of those magazines that's in the seat in front of me that nobody ever reads, and I grabbed a pencil and I just started writing. And that's how the end of my story came to be. The resolution came to be because I gave my mind a rest. Hopefully, we prove that the thoughts and messages that we encounter over the course of a day are planted in both your conscious and subconscious mind. If you let negative thoughts grow there, they'll soon overtake you. However, if you can instead plant positive thoughts, making it more likely that you'll experience positive outcomes, that will happen. This suggests that we have a certain level of control over what happens to us. Turns out there's a whole school of thought behind the question, do I have control over my life? The belief regarding who or what controls your fate is called your locus of control. Some will say that outside forces primarily determine one's fate. Others will say that the primary controller of outcome, when it comes to their lives, is themselves. And there are those who believe that fate is a combination of both. You have an internal locus of control if you believe you control your own life. You have an external locus of control if you believe your life is controlled by something or someone else. In the illustrations, the boulder represents the man's fate. On the left, the man controls fate, internal locus of control, while on the right, the man is controlled by fate, external locus of control. Table 2-1 in the textbook effectively illustrates locus of control for something even as simple as a graded paper. For those experiencing internal locus of control, or the people who are that type, if they got an A on the paper, they think to themselves, I did well because I planned my time well. I did well because I worked hard. I did well because I paid attention in class. Conversely, those with an external locus of control say, I did well because the teacher likes me. I did well because I got lucky. I did well because the class is easy. Really, what that comes down to is them saying, I did well because I got lucky. On the other hand, if you got an F on the paper, you can also either be one of an internal locus of control or one of an external locus of control as well. I got an F on the paper. I did poorly because I didn't pay attention in class. I procrastinated too much. I didn't try hard enough. That's called internal locus of control, represented, otherwise known in this case as taking responsibility. On the other hand, those with external locus of control, and we hear this a lot, I did poorly because the teacher doesn't like me. I did poorly because this topic is impossible to learn. I did poorly because I didn't have enough time. I did poorly because, and the excuses never end. Internal locus of control and external locus of control. Most people will fall somewhere in between, taking some responsibility and acknowledging some outside circumstances. But as we spoke of in chapter 1, like most things, balance is key. Some parts of your life may make it more difficult to do well in school, and those things aren't always within your control. Such is the case with life in general. If you work or are responsible for taking care of other people, you may have to work harder to do well in school than someone who doesn't have those added responsibilities. However, it's much better to take control of your life than to just leave things up to chance. Don't hope you get lucky on your midterm. Make time to study. If you do poorly, don't blame the teacher or anything or anyone else. Try to figure out what you can do the next time to earn a better grade. Remember, you are the captain of your ship. I am the captain of my ship. And although the wind helps push you along, you choose which direction to steer, as do I. And I am constantly doing my best to remind myself of that. Developing a more internal locus of control ties in directly with what we'll be discussing in the next lecture as we take a look at the first 2 of 4 methods to create a positive and self-motivating attitude. Reframe your thinking, get rid of destructive or irrational beliefs. See you then.